the discussion of Dhamma today, we have selected the topic called Niyaama Dhamma. Niyaama Dhamma. Niyaama is the cosmic order or natural order of the universe. Is wonderful subject. So once I was in Iran, in a conference. In the conference, I was asked this question: who is if you don't believe God, how this system of the world remain as this way? How do you explain this? I don't know how it came to my mind. I said, I hope you understand the question. I said, I don't know, because in the Buddha's teaching, the universe is governed by natural laws. And then everyone was very aware about what I was telling. And I said, the entire universe, we think the world is governed by the natural laws. Then what are these natural laws? I explained the 5 niyamas. 5 niyamas govern this world, this cosmos. They are called cosmic order. So therefore, what is the point of view in Buddhism? How do we explain? If we don't believe supernatural being, how this world exists like this way, the order of the world. So therefore, 5 niyamas are very important for our Buddhist people to understand, okay, how can we explain the order of the world. So the 5 niyamas, Utu niyama, Bija niyama, Chitta niyama, Kamma niyama, and Dhamma niyama. They are the 5 natural orders, universal orders. One cannot control, one cannot stop. They activate as it is the order of the nature, order of the natural laws. So I think one by one, Dr. Upali is here today. He will explain little by little, and I will help to him. Would you please explain little by little these 5 natural orders?
Thank you, Bhante. These are what are called universal cosmic laws that keeps the universe working. And Buddha used the word for this. It's called Tathata. This is the way it works. And these 5 are scattered in most of the discourses, but they were combined together and presented as the 5 niyamas in the commentaries. First, the first one, Utu niyama. Utu niyama means the physical laws. We know that if you have studied science, everything is governed by gravity, the various types of waves, and there are all there are forces that keep the elements going. The nuclear force and the other subatomic forces, all those things, there are altogether 4 kinds of forces that govern the physical aspect of the universe. For example, if I go up and jump down from the window or something, the gravity will drag me down. Like that cannot be stopped unless you have some other way to counteract it. Utu niyama means the physical. Then the next one is called Bija niyama. Bija niyama means the modern genetics. What you are is defined by the genetic composition. Animals have their own genetic composition, human beings have their own genetic composition, and it is the vegan Niyaama. The third thing is called the Chitta Niyaama. That is how the mind is working. According to Buddha, the mind is not a permanent entity. There is no soul or anything. It is a stream of units of consciousness changing all the time. And there's a, according to Abhidhamma, there's a particular order how they act. And that, I don't want to go into details, Abhidhamma details about the mind at the moment. Later on, if you ask questions, I might be able to answer. So that is the order of the working of the mind, Chitta Niyaama. Then the fourth one is called the Kamma Niyaama. This is the only thing so far that has not been recognized by science. Karma. Now, in ancient India, before the Aryans came, they believed in karma. That is the modern religion of Jainism. They said what you do will cause some result later on in your life, or they also believe the reincarnation later on in your this life or next life. They said it is the negative things that you cause, and those people believed in a permanent entity or soul or Atman, and they said what you do when you do some negative thoughts, the karma will arise as like seeds. They will go and get attached to your Atman. And this attached karma is the one that causes you to be born again and again after it. So at that time they believed by suffering yourself in this life, right? Go without force, do all sorts of penances, so do all sorts of bad things to get rid of the seeds of karma that is attached to your soul. And at the same time, they practice extreme non-violence, ahimsa, to prevent any new karma coming into your mind. Not only that, they also practice meditation, so that when you are in meditation, in what is called jhana consciousness, no karma will be formed. When the Aryans came with their Vedic religion, they believed the karma is what you do to please the gods. You make sacrifices, you make prayers, and you respect the priest who is the communication between you and the God. And that is karma. When they came to India, they found that that's not karma, this is karma. So they absorbed part of it. They absorbed part of it. Then Buddha came in life. He came and said, yes, I believe in karma. I have myself practically experienced by meditation, gaining what is called the three special knowledges. What happened to me in my past life. And also I have the knowledge to say from what people are doing in life, how they will be born again. So I have seen this happening, therefore karma is there. And he said, not only negative, even the positive ones cause karma. Positive ones give good results, negative ones give negative results. And we all get attached to positive things and they do positive things most of the time. And negative things by mistake. So there is a mixture of positive and negative, and then that is happening, karma Niyaama. So we said now Niyaama, Vida Niyaama, Chitta Niyaama, Dhamma Niyaama. Now Dhamma Niyaama is a bit of a question, because in the commentaries they say Dhamma is Niyaama is the special type of things that happen in the world, like when Buddha is enlightened, there's an earthquake and lightning and all sorts of things happening. Those miracles are done. But there is a discourse in the Anguttara Nikaya, and this discourse is called the Dhamma Niyaama Sutra. Recently, Bhikkhu Sujata, who is a very well-known author, and Bhikkhu Bodhi, they have analyzed this. And they said this Dhamma Niyama is the fact that these other niyamas keep on doing the work of the universe and nobody can change those niyamas. So Dhamma Niyama is that the steadiness of the action of the other four niyamas. So those are the five niyamas. And this is what happens in the universe all the time. And what we have to do is to understand that no one condition no one cause can give rise to one effect. Always you get multiple causes giving rise to multiple effects. And this order of things cannot be changed. If there are certain number of causes, the effect will not be. And if there are no causes, there will only an effect. This is what he defined in his formulation of the dependent ordination. That is the Dhamma Niyama, the cause and effect, which now is in the modern philosophy is called determinism. There are causes and there are effects. For example, water on the earth vaporizes due to heat from the sun, and that becomes sort of droplets of steam or whatever, vaporized water, and then go up, and they gather with dust and all that and form clouds. And when they go up, they become cool, and when they become sufficiently cool, it falls as rain. That's the what called the water cycle. Even children are taught in school now. Those are the causes and effects. But the modern determinism, they say cause comes first, then the effect comes. But Buddha disagreed. 2,600 years ago, he said cause can come together with the effect, cause can come after the effect, cause can come before the effect. And for this, he preached, according to Abhidhamma, what's called the Pattham, conditioned relations, to show that the cause and effect has no respect for time and space, talking from modern science. So these niyamas explain how the world, the universe continues. So this is what sort of a summarization of the five niyamas. And for example, now somebody comes and says, this happened because of my karma. Karma alone cannot do anything. It has to be helped by other niyamas, other laws. Now you heard about this modern recent tragedy of a plane crashing in India. Carrying everybody died together, except one person. And they said, karma. He is the one who had good karma, the other 273 people did have good karma, therefore it's not karma alone. It is the physical laws, something wrong in the plane. The plane has to go up against gravity, and that is done by some machine. And something went wrong, either due to the pilots doing something or due to the failure of the machinery. And it crashed. And when it crashed, those who had bad karma, the karma effect came. Results of the karma effect came for 273 people. There was one person who was seated next to the emergency door. The door opened and he fell out and escaped. So at that time, his good karma came to his rescue. See, so there are so many conditions happening, but you can't blame one condition for everything. This saying, this is my karma is not agreeable to Buddha. Buddha said, no, everything does not happen according to karma. He showed that what you do now is not according to karma. Because when some of the people who are called Gigantas came and said, we believe that everything happens to karma, then Buddha said, you are, people are killing other people, people are stealing, lying. Is that because of previous karma? No, you are making new karma. So you can't say everything happens to karma, because it depends on karma. So there are things like that. Now, for example, there was a recent earthquake in Venezuela. That is Niyaama. And there are people who died because of karma came up at the same time. And there are people who escaped because their good karma saved them. Like that, so many causes are working on at that moment in every event in the universe. So now we know that clearly everything does not happen due to karma. That is the main thing to be certain about. Karma can play a part, but it doesn't mean that it is the only thing that affects your life. So people who are accepting whatever happens and says, I failed my exam because of my karma. No. I failed because I didn't know the answers to the questions. And my bad karma came forward at the time. Therefore, I failed my exam. But if I was good enough, if I now try again and work hard, then my bad karma won't come at that time. We'll ask questions later. Okay. So these are the things about karma. One thing you want to add?
Same, actually. Yeah. I think enough information to go into the Dhamma and also modern science Doctor has contributed for this topic. There is a discourse of the Buddha called Upada Sutta. You can read that. Same thing.
It's called Dhamma, Niyaama Sutta.
That is the thing,
Same.
Upada Sutta or Dhamma Niyaama Sutta. Upada Sutta, Buddha said whether Buddha appeared in the world or not. He highlighted, he said that whether the Buddha Tathagata appeared in the world or not, things are impermanent. I think we all agree whether the Buddha Tathagata appeared or not, things are impermanent, isn't it? So Buddha didn't invent the impermanence. Buddha didn't invent the dukkha. Buddha didn't invent the anatta. They whether appeared the Tathagata or not. These are the natural laws. The world is governed by these things. When Buddha understood under the Bodhi tree impermanence, this is great significance because it helped to spiritual development. Otherwise, Buddha didn't want to highlight the impermanence. Why Buddha has highlighted impermanence, understanding impermanence once stop the running processes and think about things are impermanent, think about the impermanence, and they think about something spiritual which is important for to cope the conditions. So therefore, understanding impermanence is important for the spiritual development, or the it is called the wisdom of I, panya chakku. So organic order and inorganic order. Inorganic order is, as we said, inorganic order is the temperature and the seasons. Due to 4 seasons in this country, there are differences of the flora, natural flora, and also differences of our mind, our body and mind as well. Differences of the nature we can see. They are not. They are inorganic order. They are inorganic order. So therefore, gravity or Isaac Newton discovered the gravitation theory of gravitation. See, he was sitting on the apple tree, and one apple fell on his head. He was rubbing his head, and he was thinking. He was very clever scientist, and thinking why it has happened, why the apple has fallen down. Then we discovered the gravitation, because he's a brilliant man. He's very wise man. He understood that is the reason why the apple has fallen down from the tree was the gravitation. The gravitation, whether the Isaac Newton discovered or not, it happened always. But we are not, our awareness was driven by Isaac Newton, like that way Buddha has given these, in the Upada Sutta it says, dukkha and impermanence and anatta, all they are existed in the world with the Tathagata appeared or not. So they are the natural laws. Natural laws. Niyaama is the order of the genetics. Order of genetics. Why the apple trees produce apple fruits? Why not apple trees produce mango trees? You can argue with it. Why mango trees don't produce apple? So this is the order of the genetics. Order of the genetics. So therefore, this way we are unable to go beyond these natural laws. We are under the natural laws, and especially as Dr. Upali said, the common Niyaama is very important for us today. Physical action, verbal action, and mental action. They are the cause. If we do something wholesome or unwholesome, that is the cause. And cause and effect. Effect is results. Effect is inevitable. That is, it takes time sometimes. Vita Dhamma Vedaniya, Aparapadiya Vedaniya, etc. This way it takes time. But the results is there. Results come according to the actions. So that is called karma niyama. Very great teaching in Buddhism. So we have to get that lesson. And Dhamma niyama is meditation also part of Dhamma niyama. A lot of things, the Niyama Sutta, Dhamma Niyama Sutta explains this. He said all the other 4 niyamas activate, operate according to Dhamma Niyama. Yeah, for half an hour we have discussion.
Open discussion. Any questions, please?
We have a microphone. I can put it on the floor.
One thing I didn't tell you is that now science, modern science, recognizes Chitta Niyaama, that there is no permanent soul, it is all changing, and they have also even almost 90% agreed with Abhidhamma how the mind works. If anybody is interested, I think there is a very big conference going on the 3rd Tuesday from 10 to 5 at the Oasis University of London. They are all going to talk about the scientific concept of Buddhism. Question?
So, just to reiterate that, so science also, can you, I just, few words I want to talk about. On the note of science, I love science. So coming back to, you need to speak to me. Coming back to the point about science, so modern science recognizes the law of cause and effect and I address that by Isaac Newton's third law of motion. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So that is like cause and effect. Okay, thank you.
What is the question again?
What is your question? No, I'm
No
just saying
question.
about science and law of cause and effect. That, Buddhism was the law of Isaac Newton's.
Any more questions, please? Someone? I know it's a sleep time, but ask your questions. You can talk about karma is the only one that science doesn't still agree with. And one warning is, Buddha has said, do not speculate about the results of karma, because it's a very difficult topic because it's affected by so many things. Only a Buddha can sort of understand most of the karma results. But in a broad outline, he has described what happens if you take life, you will be short-lived like that. There was a man called Suba who came and asked, why are these people long-lived, why are short-lived, why are ugly, why are sort of answer like that, so many differences. So Buddha gave a broad explanation of karma. It doesn't mean that karma is exactly, if I say, if I strangle somebody to death, it doesn't mean that they will be strangled in another life. Because it way is different. Because this, I who strangled somebody, my mind will be much more developed spiritually. So I am not the same person who is, although I inherit that karma, we have changed quite a lot. Therefore, things can sort of be easier. This is why now Angulimala, who killed 999 people, right? When he became enlightened, nobody came and killed him. But he suffered quite a lot during his period as an arhat, because people used to throw stones at him, throw his football away, things like that. And he used to go crying to Buddha. I can't do this. And he said, no, you can do this. You did something, so you suffer for it. And now you start doing good things. And he went and saw somebody in labor, unable to deliver a child. And then he came and said, now what can I do for this lady? He said, you go and do what called acceleration of the truth. From the time I became a monk, I have never taken any life. And he went and did that acceleration, and they said that they delivered the child without any issue. And up to now, even now, parents, when they are pregnant, just before delivery birth, they go and get the Angulimala Tirtha chanted to them. That doesn't mean that everybody 100% gets a good delivery. It will help you. But if you have some other condition coming up. For example, if you have a bleeding disease, then a child's birth you can die from bleeding after childbirth. So that's not due to karma, that is due to the physical things. How the body was, how the genetic combination was there. So like that, there are so many things that affect everything. It is like trying to focus weather. Most of the time you come right, but there are times when you don't come right. Because everything, there are so many conditions affecting the effect, so many causes. So I'm doing all the talking. Yes, there's a speaker there.
Sorry. You were switching on.
Yeah.
I like to view karma as the result, if you like, the cumulative result of all one's direct and indirect actions throughout all the life experiences, which are, if you like, interactions. That's another way to view karma.
You are correct. It's all there. It doesn't mean that they all give results. Some of them give results, some don't. For example, when you are birth, in the next life decided by one particular time, that comes at the last moment. Similarly, now when the Arahants pass away, most of the past karma results become what is called the defunct. There is nobody to give results. Yeah, no, you don't. This is why I said karma results don't go with the warned against speculation. Karma is there, and during all the time your karma is acting on the past karma. They say that what you are doing, what you are talking, what you are experiencing is with past karma. That is how the first part of the thought comes into Abhidharma. When I open my eye and see something, supposing I see a dead rat, what do I feel? Do I feel happy about it? No. I feel unhappy about it. That's one of our past bad karma has given an effect. And I see a nice, beautiful flower. That is one of my past good karma has given an effect. That is only the first part. As soon as the object comes to your mind. But then when you think what to do, then you are making new karma. I think Dhamma, somebody has written very nice one on this. He became ordained in Savat in India. And they used to go for a Dhamma and come. They have to pass a pond. And there was a very beautiful water leap. So because he was the junior, he was the last one walking. As he saw it, he said, "What a nice flower." And then immediately it came to his mind, "I must pluck this flower." So he bent down to pluck the flower, slid down all the way up to his neck in the pond, and walked to the vihara with the flower, all covered with mud. So I think, I can't remember the name of the piece, he's passed away recently. In that place, he turned and said, "What did you do?" Bhante, I thought it's a nice flower, I must take it. And I plucked it and I slid down. He said, "Yes, your good karma showed you a good flower. And without allowing it to be there and to be enjoyed by other people, you committed bad karma and you will treat the results in that." It's in his book about his life in the Dhamma. So this is how karma is part of your working mind is due to past karma at the beginning. Then you come what called the Yavana Chitta. I don't know whether you have done it with this thing. When it comes to Yavana, then you are doing new karma. Not all Yavanas do karma, by the way, because Buddha said everything doesn't happen due to karma. This is why I should not be talking about this because Buddha has warned results of karma. But if you have it in mind broadly, if you do real bad things like taking life, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying and bad speech, then of course you will get the results. But it just depends on how your mind is at the moment you get the results. Like Angulimala who became Arhat, he didn't get the results back. But there are some certain karmas they say somehow that they give results till the last moment in your life, like killing parents and all that. Good example is Moggana. And although he became an Arhat, he was killed by thieves. Yeah. So this is the broad aspect of karma. Come on, ask questions now. We got another 15 minutes.
There is a discourse called Soka Sallahana Sutta. Soka Sallahana Sutta. Soka means grief, Salla means arrow, Hal means removal. And this course given to the king was very, very grieving due to his beloved wife died. His queen, she died and he was really upset about them crying and asked his minister, can we keep this body for as long as we could? Then they decided to put the body in an oil tank, oil coffin, because they wanted to keep the body of the queen longer and longer, because he was very, very grieving. Then the minister was thinking what to do now. Our king doesn't work, doesn't govern the country, doesn't govern the cabinet. What can we do? Then there was a monk called Narada. He made an appointment with Venerable Narada and went to see the Narada. And king also accompanied by this minister, and people went to talk with him. Then and there he gave how much you wish, how much you pray. There are 5 things in the world, it wouldn't happen how much you pray. It wouldn't happen as you wish. So they are the niyamas. They are the niyamas. How much we pray. Please the sun rise from the west. And we pray. We pray and we pray. It wouldn't happen. Sunrise from the east direction. Like that, the world governed by these laws, natural laws, cosmic laws. How much we pray wouldn't happen. So the king was very much grieving about the death of his beloved queen. And Hindu, now the Hindu, he said, if you wish, may I not get old, and how much you wish. May I not be old. May I not be old. May I not be old. For many years, how much you pray, it wouldn't happen. We all get old. That is one point that Muhammad said.
Now Dhamma said it wouldn't happen. And may I not die. May I not die. How much you pray, it wouldn't happen. It certainly happened. They are the laws of the govern the world, our lives, the nature, and the flora and everything is governed this way. How much we wish it wouldn't happen. So karma also like that. Karma also very karma is not angry with us. Karma is not giving punishment. Karma just operate like the fire burns. Like the fire burns, fire is not angry with us. Fire just operate. Likewise, the karma operates. Cause and effect. This is the results of our action. It's operate. So it doesn't angry with us, doesn't punish us. So this is the natural orders in the world. Unbelievable. Thank you very much. One more thing I just wanted to say. Till about 200 years ago, everybody thought the sun and the planets and the moon and all those things were created and they are going to last forever. 2,600 years ago, Buddha said in one of his discourses, don't think the sun and the moon and all these things are going to be permanent. He said there are thousands and thousands of world systems grouped again into millions and millions, and they expand for a time, long period, but of years, and then they contract, and then they all disappear. So this is modern astroscience. Buddha said, and this was recorded 25 years before Jesus Christ was born in Sri Lanka by them. So you can see how the impermanence was described by Buddha. This description was given to the monks. He didn't try to give it to the lay people because they wouldn't have believed it. There are so many things because as he said, he took up a handful of leaves and said, look at this handful of leaves. I am talking only about this handful, but my knowledge is like this forest. And I am not going to describe it because I don't have the time and people don't have the knowledge to understand it. That is why he broadly brought down to this Niyaama, 5 Niyamas. And the fifth one, the Niyaama, is that all these laws, whether Buddha, as Bhante said, whether Buddha appears or not, they are there in the universe. Any questions, please? Again, we got another 5-10 minutes. You want to have a little break or?
So, concerning karma, how does it work in the other realms, actually, like divine world and the animal world?
Well, unfortunately, all I can tell you is what appears in the literature, Buddhist literature. There are certain stories about people in one of these what I call Deva worlds. There is supposed to be very low, hundreds of years in comparison to a human time. And there are certain female deities who are in the while you are doing something, who others suddenly disappear. And then by evening, by evening or after few hours according to their time, she appears again. So they ask, what happened to you? So one of my karmas came up and I died and was born in human realm. And I lived there, got married, had children, and I did so many good deeds. And I died at the ripe age of 90 years. And here I am back again. That is one of the stories that appears in the same day. Same day, within few hours, he's gone and come back also. And then there are some kind of deities who are called, as long as their mind is nice and soft, they can continue to enjoy life. The moment they get angry, they disappear from that world. They die. This very nice if you keep on reading it, like you used to enjoy reading these stories. Then there is another group of deities. If they enjoy life too much also, they die. So karma apparently acts in all the realms. And they say that whatever the realm enjoys, like all this, the snake and ladders. Depending on your last thought, you can come back to another realm. So, I mean, people who have got into the first, second, third stages of enlightenment, they will not go to very bad places. But others can, there are stories where the Buddhas were being born as an elephant or a snake. So, according to Abhidharma, yes, you want to ask question? According to Abhidharma, that last thought must have been a bad one. And what he called a unwholesome, investigating thought that gives rise to a out-of-the-way type of consciousness that gives rise to revealing consciousness. He must have had one of those bad ones. My question is, even though he became an animal, according to stories, he behaved in an extraordinary animal. That is because even though your birth circumstances are determined by your last thought, your development spiritually doesn't disappear. If it disappears, then the moment you are born as an animal, you have to start again till you are born. You have to wait till you are born as a human being. And according to Dhamma, it takes a long time for you to come back to human world.
Another question on Bijanya. You see, when a person is born, some very talented astrologers, they can predict the general trend of life. You see, for example, in fact, some of the astrologers, they recommend people to change places to avoid their fatal destinies or whatever, due to certain special effects like in Vedic astrology, they say Sadhe Sati, it's a Rastaka in Sinhalese.
That period.
Yes, that bad period. But if you, I have come across people who change their place of living and they avoid their karmic results. What is your opinion about that?
I told you, it's a thing that should not be discussed like that. Whatever it is, Buddha did not believe in the astrology. His statement was, King Karisatma. What kind of plans can you do?
Yes, it's not because we are talking about laws of nature, or not because.
So I don't know whether astrology goes with the scientific laws. I don't know. I don't know.
Some say, actually, some Indian astrologers say it's very scientific. Actually, it's, for example, if you take the birth predictions, the child. It is like the genetic fingerprint, in science, in modern science. It can predict your health, your prosperity, and the family you are going to have, everything. And in case of a case like Nadi Vakyam in southern India, but they predict even, they have written records of people who are not born, actually, to be born. And, even very uh, uh, ascetic priests like Venerable Ananda Maitreya.
I have read his book,
This
he said
he
that
believes that.
it was very accurate, but I have no way to, my knowledge is very inferior. Therefore, I have no way how to explain. For example, there was one of my patients called Krishna in Sri Lanka. I operated on him and he was very happy and said, "Doctor, can I see your hand?" So I gave my hand. This was when I was quite young. And he looked at me and said, "You are a doctor, but you will have 3 jobs. You will do 3 jobs." So I just forgot about it. I have done 3 jobs. I have been lecturer, doctor, and I have been a manager also. So, how did it happen? I don't know. I can't explain those things. Astrology is completely out of my knowledge. I think
Actually, even now, apart from astrology, you see, even the Buddhist spirituality.
Yeah.
You see that by meditation you can change your destiny. Can't be actually, because you can avoid your. If there's something if you have bad period, and if your mind always gives you suffering, that you can avoid the suffering by meditation.
True. That is because your mind is spiritually evolved into a higher status, and the results of that karma will become mild. This is what that is agreed in Buddhism, that the one who experiences is not the same as the one who does the karma. Buddha said that if you said that it's the same, results will be the same, he said that's not karma. Buddha explained that. There's a nice discourse called the Dhamma Sutta about the salt and water. If you put a piece of salt into a small glass, it will give you salt taste. But if you put it into a river or some big place, it won't. So Buddha said it is like karma results. So you can't say that the same effect will appear as the karma. Of course, there are exceptions. So every rule can be ruled by exceptions, as they say. I think that I'm up now. Yeah. Thank you very much for the interesting. Thank you, Bhamse, for the nice talk.
Yeah, thank you for your wonderful contribution for the discussion. I appreciate it and I'm grateful to you. And thank you for the audience for listening and giving questions. Finally, I would like an enlightened monk who was affected the karma in Buddhist literature is Losaka. There was a monk called Losaka. He was enlightened. Enlightened monk, he was wandering in Pindapata. He was going on Pindapata. Never ever received any food. People didn't give. Some people have prepared food. If they see the Losaka is coming, where are we going? They didn't give to the Andhru. Losaka Andhru, then whenever Sariputta understood today Losaka Andhru is going to die, he would die without food, hungry. As a hungry monk, he would die. And Sariputta asked from the Lord Supper, don't go up in the path and you alone, come with me. You come with me and we together go today. And he was waiting. Went in the path with two of the Sariputta and Lord Supper. On that day, even Sariputta didn't have any food. Even Sariputta didn't have food that day. He didn't receive Vindapat because of the effect of those. Look at that. Something people you go with your friends and you will be given. Ammaante mutikanne යාළුවෙක් කියලා Satan had because of others karmic effect to the others as well. You see, you will have a lot of experience. Okay, if one born in a family, effect to over. Yeah. So we have. And this is great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, discussion.
Now, Dr. Stop. We want to have a 5 minutes less talk. Yeah. Give you 5 minutes to stretch your legs.
Nidimat. Tired.
That cover. Thank you very much. This is showing. We have to ask Aman. I don't know how to stop this. I stopped. Okay. It's not really, it's not, you can see that, but it's not, they are not doing the program. You can see this.
Yeah.
In one of these, we are advertised pointer, but we are not projecting it to the outside. This is the one that goes.
Are you sure that this isn't what
Yeah,
they're
that's
showing?
this one.
No, this is what that is showing, and that is what is on.
Yeah.
So they can.
They can be there, but they are not beaming into the
What's interesting?
You. There's a delay between. Look, if I do this.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a 4-second delay.
Yeah, there's like a 3 to 4 second delay. Just in case like you do something bad.
You know
there's
they
like
can
a-
hear you.
Oh,
That's the live feed into YouTube. I don't know why they haven't stopped it. So could you come down?
basically, there's like a thing where if you do something bad, there's like a keybind that like rewinds like 5 seconds. How many people are watching?
Who knows? It's just odd. Look. Everything has a 5-second delay. See, your mum left and then your mum left. Which one? They need to move the belly mal and the ranavara. To move the belly mal and the ranavara.
Okay, now I think the 5 minutes is gone.
It's okay.
The topic for my discussion is called Gihivatha. Gihivatha means advice for lay people. This all happened because when Buddha became enlightened, after he has sort of acquired what's called the 3 week Dhamma, the 3 knowledges, and became enlightened, he thought about this dependent origination and all these things. And he thought, my God, he thought this is too hard for people to understand. Not only it is too hard, because people are quite happy with the way things are going on in life, even with old age and death. At the end of it, they will not like it. And it will be only a few people who will understand this teaching and follow it and attain enlightenment. True to his thought, there are people who didn't understand. But he did not sort of abandon them, saying, oh, they don't have the intelligence to understand, therefore I will preach only to the unintelligent people. Therefore, there is one sutta called Sila Sutta, where he thought he will decide the level of his teaching according to the group. Monks and nuns, and the female and male lay believers who can understand. And then another group called Putujan, who don't believe or who don't understand karma and all these things, and therefore they won't follow the teaching. And even among some of the lay believers, there are people who came and said, Bhante, it's very nice, your teaching. We understand it. But we have wealth, we have families, we have responsibilities. We like to use cosmetics, we like to wear jewelry, nice clothes, enjoy things. Can you preach to us something that will make us happy? We'll follow you, but in our own time. What they are saying is, we don't want to get into the fast train like monks and nuns are doing. We'll come in the slow train. There are some people who came and said, whatever you say, we understand your teaching, but we don't believe. We believe there is a God. We believe there is no God, there is a soul, like the community. So he did not abandon them. They came and said, you teach us something for us to be happy in this life. Or those who believe it to be happy in next life. So he decided to teach according to the level of the requirement of the audience. And then he said, fine. In one of the suttas called Veluddhara Sutta, he said, I am going to teach you the Gihivatha. Gihivatha means Gihivatha. The way to practice in lay life. And first he identified what makes people happy in this life. Wealth. People have to be economically stable, free, and happy. If you are poor and working hard day and night, weekends, there won't be any time for them to come and follow this teaching. And that's why he said there are happiness in acquiring wealth. One is he called Bhoga Sukha, to know that you are economically sound and stable, and therefore you are safe. You can do whatever you want. Then the other one is called Bhakti Sukha. Bhakti Sukha is the one in box. Bhoga Sukha is you have to enjoy what you have. There are people, even now we hear so and so died and left 2-3 million income to nobody. And he lived like a pauper during his life. So if you don't use that wealth to live happily, then you are again not doing anything good in your life. And in fact, he said, if you have wealth, there are things that you can do. And that's what he said. First of all is to provide basic necessities of your life. You need food, shelter, enjoyment, all sorts of things. You can have it at a basic level and be happy. Then you can have at a higher level. You want to wear good clothes, do good things, have a nice car, things like that. Then other one is you can use that wealth to make other people happy. So you are distributing that wealth so that it will go out into the society. Then the fourth one is you can think, I can use this wealth to do good things so that my afterlife, next birth or whatever it is, will be happy. So that is what he thought now that wealth is like that. Then the next thing, once you become wealthy and happy, is to look for fame. You want to be somebody. You want to be accepted by your society, and sometimes if you are not enough, you want to practice some art or something and become famous, or you write books and become famous, do politics. So you want to achieve fame. The third one is you want to live long as possible. And the last one is, if you believe in an afterlife, you need to have a good afterlife. Those are the four things that people want to, in this life, to be happy with. So what he did was, he first started, he didn't talk about the Four Noble Truths or the karma or anything like that. He said, okay, I'll tell you how to be happy. And he gave, first is, you must, if you don't have wealth, you must earn the wealth. To earn the wealth, you must have what you call the relentless effort, uttama sampada. You must have the courage and the effort to work hard, overcome obstructions, and overcome downward trends and earn the money. Without that, you can't earn money. Next one is how to look after it. Those days, he said you have to sort of save it from fire, theft, and sometimes the king will come and take everything away. Like that, you have to take all these things, precautions. Nowadays, we have all kinds of insurance. We have pensions, insurance, all these things. And he even said, you have to be a bit careful about who is going to inherit your wealth, because they can do something nasty to you to get your health before you die in old age. He even mentioned that you have to be careful from some of the nasty people who are going to inherit your wealth. Then he said, next thing is have friends. Kalyana Mitrata. Cultivate good friends. Who are the good friends? They have to be sort of well disciplined. You don't want somebody who is going around stealing things to be your friend. You don't want somebody who is misbehaving, buying women and so on to be your good friend. It has to be well disciplined. And they have to be generous. A good friend will give you good presents. He won't accept presents and then give you something useless like that. And when you are in need, they can come and help you. When you are ill, they come and help you. Like that. Then, other thing is that you have to also be prepared to avoid things that will ruin your wealth and your life and your status. So he preached about that. He said you should not sort of go and start spending so much or doing bad things, debauchery, indulging in intoxicants, and at the same time you should not be miserly, hoard your wealth and not enjoy it. And extravagant life, spend beyond your income, and also what is called, there are ways to enjoy your wealth. He said one is you should not be greedy. I don't want to say the Pali was very Sankatito, Amulchito, like that. If you are greedy, then you get into lots of difficulties. One is, if you are greedy, you overuse them. And your wealth can become damaged. And also, your wealth, you can finish your wealth if you are too greedy. The next one is, you must not be foolish. But he means is you must not try to things simply because they are advertising things. Nowadays, so much of things are advertised. You must select what you want to have within your means. Simply because somebody has, there is a good advertisement, nice car, this and that, you don't go and spend unnecessarily without thinking. That is why being not foolish about what your wants are. Then the third thing is prevent addiction. The worst is the intoxicants, alcohol-like things, and even good food. If you get addicted, then you can become overweight, ill, and have all sorts of problems. Other thing is, whatever you do, you must be aware of the bad consequences. That will prevent you from all these things happening. Be aware of the consequences of your enjoying wealth and even everything. The next one is called Nissarana, which is a bit of a difficult thing to understand. This is to keep in mind that we discussed about the 5 Niyamas, that everything is impermanent and can give rise to suffering. So when you enjoy wealth and fame and everything, you have to be aware in your back of your mind that everything may have bad consequences. For example, if you want to become a politician, then you go and keep on lying and say, I promise this, I promise that. When I'm elected, I will be like this. And then when you are elected, you can't do it. Similar things. Even in selecting your partner. I give you the sun and the moon. Will you happy? It has to be within means. What you can promise to deliver. That is the. Then, apart from these things, then he said about the good friends, all these things, he said, Gihivatha. That is balanced life. You have to know the amount you can spend and the amount you can earn and balance it so that spending is not exceeding the earnings. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect a Buddha to tell these things. Anyone can tell these things, isn't it? But to please these people, to make them happy, he went down to that level and spoke to them to make them happy in this life. And all these things he nicely explained. And then he quietly put a little hint. He said, fine, it's nice, wealth is nice, fame is nice, long life is nice, but when you achieve it and when you lose it, remember this dictum. In his own, I wrote it down in his own. There are so many discourses in it. This one is said, I am one who wishes to live and desire happiness and am averse to suffering. If someone is to take my life for harm me, or take from me what is not given, commit adultery with my spouse, damage my welfare with false speech, and deprive me from my friends by divisive speech, and address me with harsh speech, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to me. So how can I inflict on another person same disagreeable and displeasing acts? This is what about 300-400 years later, Jesus Christ came and said, famous words, do not do unto others what you don't have them do unto you. But before that, the Old Testament said, eye for an eye, life for a life, and do not forgive your enemies like that. I personally believe that that's why he was crucified, for going against the old religious beliefs. And that is the one that is, and he explained why you should not do these things. Not because God commands. Before that, it was the commandments given to them by God. You should not do this, do that. But Jesus Christ went and explained, you should not do it because you wouldn't like others to do it for you. Not because of the fear from God or anything. Because my happiness is important to me. Therefore, the others' happiness is important to them. That's the golden rule he introduced in his teaching. The 5 precepts. Do not kill or harm. Do not take anything ungiven. Do not indulge in sexual misactivity. Do not false speech, harsh speech, divisive speech, and he even went out of the way to say even useless chatter. So this is the 5 precepts, and he said if you follow these rules, you will be happy in your life, you will have no stress, you will have enough friends, and then your fame will spread without any problem. And he said that's the only fragrance that goes against the wind. Sandalwood or anything, the nice smell will go with the wind. But if your behavior is good, that flame will go all over against the wind. So you can see how quietly he introduced the 5 precepts to the people so that they can learn how to live in this life, in harmony without stress. And if they believed in afterlife, to get a better life in their afterlife. And so doing that, then he said, not only that, you have to cultivate various responsibilities. And he preached how you have to cultivate your responsibilities to your spouse, to your parents, to your relations, then to people who are working with you, and also to people who are as religious priests. He said, give it to Bhikkhus, Buddhist Bhikkhus. He said, Samana Bhakman. Samana means the people who are going mendicants, who don't live in Brahmana, or the priests who were practicing Veda while they were living their life. So those were the priests in that time. And he said, go and give it to them and make them happy because they live a good life. They are an example of social life. In fact, he mentioned, it's called Bali. Bali means what you give willingly. He said, relations, Jnati Bali. You have to pay your taxes, Raja Bali. He don't mention that, Raja Bali. Then Samana Brahmana Bali. And not only that, you have to remember your departed relations and friends. And if you are doing various things, remember them, that you pay the money. So, this is the type of thing that Buddha preached to people who said, we want to follow you, but we can't give up their life. And we have various beliefs. We might not believe in afterlife, or we might not believe in afterlife. Then once they understood this and they practiced this, then some people came and said, "Oh, can you tell us what the life of a monk is like? Monk or nun?" There one discourse where he has to give both what the monk or the nun's life as well as the layperson's life. So he first explained about the monk's life, how you renounce everything and then become ordained as a bhikkhu, and then you give up everything, you go begging for your requisites, and after getting food, you can't go to a quiet place and then concentrate your mind, and then go on to meditation and loving kindness, everything. Even loving kindness, he gave conditions to practice before you can't just say, let all beings be happy, well and happy. Just like that. It has a better effect if you practice. Remember, Sakko, Ujucha, Sujucha, Suvachochasa, Mudu, Anatimam, there are 15 conditions in that. Santusarhoja, Subaroja, Apakitoja, Salukavati. Like that, you must practice those 15 conditions, and then, if you practice loving kindness meditation, it is more effective and it is more powerful than what you are doing. In fact, at the end, they say if you practice properly and also think about inside conditions, impermanence, suffering, and nonsense, and also slowly renounce their comforts, you can even become attain the third stage of enlightenment. Gihivatha Kabbasiriya. You will not be born to a womb, in a womb again. So this is how, in this immense compassion and kindness, he taught his teaching to all levels of people, whether they believed in his following or not, and what they wanted. If they didn't want to give up their life, fine. He didn't say, no, you must come and be a monk or nun and then follow me. And he never he never invited anyone to, except very few people, where he knew that they would be successful. One instance that comes to my mind is the person who was carrying sewage away from the city, called Sunitha. He knew he had the capacity to become enlightened, and he stopped and asked, "Do you like to be a monk?" Like that, there are instances where his compassion, he said Mahakaruna, and he had the ability to know the status of the mind of people and then go out of way to help. But on the whole, most people, he did not disappoint them. He taught his teaching to fit according to the level of their interest, the capacity. So this is what he called Gihivatha. There are so many sutras in this. I think most of you must have heard these things. There is one called Dhamma, then there is a Singhalo, then about the ruination, Parabhava Sutra, Veluddhara, Dhammika. There are so many discourses in the Sutra Pitaka where he selected the type of teaching accordingly. And for example, now, I don't know how many of you have heard of Bhahi. Bhahi Alam Ki. Bhahi was a sort of an ascetic who wore a bark dress. He heard about Buddha and I think went so very big, great day to meet him. And Buddha was going on his arms round. He came and said, "Bhakti, tell me about your teaching." Buddha said, "This is not the time, Bhahiya. I am on my way for arms down." Then he said, No, tell me something. So he gave a very short teaching to him. Whatever you see, hear, smell, taste, or feel, think only about the seeing. If you are seeing something, think, be in the seeing. What he meant is, you come to that first part of your consciousness. You perceive there is something. Don't go beyond that. Don't go beyond that. If you go beyond that, then you will be doing karma. And what you need to do is to know that it is impermanent, suffering, and there is no self in it. That stops there. And they say that he became enlightened very soon and was killed by a cow. So, depending on the capacity and the ability of the person, he tailored his teaching. That is the greatest thing about Buddha as a teacher. This is what I wanted to tell you. In his Gihivatha, he gave his teaching to everybody, irrespective of his belief or his capacity and his wants, and how much he wants to give up in this day life to follow his teaching. Because he said it is a gradual thing. If you start from scratch, then you can gradually sort of develop your mind. So very hot. Talking makes me feel hot. Yeah. So anyone wants to discuss this or ask questions or say something that I like to learn, you are welcome. Or would you like to have a bigger tea interval so that you can move out and be cool? We got about 15 minutes, I think. It's too hot, isn't it? to be sitting and listening. Anyway, so thank you very much. And may you be well and happy. And I hope it sort of helped you in your life to be happy. I think they must be getting ready with the tea. To go that way, I think.
Yeah.